obj_c mode. And this should be the H class. Okay, so that's fair. It says that the OpenGL calls aren't there, and I'm not doing any OpenGL includes now that I look at it. So that's not so surprising. Somehow the Objective-C, not C++ version, imported all the right files. I have no idea why, but it seems to have. So what's the include files for? Is this gl/gl.h? Let's try that. Oh no, it's not. That's right, we have to use the special I'm trying to get into this habit of putting the libraries up top, the more important class files in the middle, and then the actual include for the file down below, the actual header for the file down below. And this is so, I mean, the stuff on the top you expect to work, and the stuff on the bottom doesn't cause some error based on that. One example is if I doubly define something, I want the error to come up in my file, not the library header. Okay, let's see if that fixes this one compile. Yes, it does. Next issue, noise block mm. Yeah. So let's look at the malloc, because we are going to need to fill in unsigned chars for several points. For each class, pretty much, we do this. So the other one is noise block.mm. Find the malloc, put it here. Okay, let's build again. Find out the next one. Bounce wall. Okay, bounce wall is the big blue line that things bounce off of. It is one of the better named objects in my system. Alright, so that's another one down. We have to get some more errors. Exit gate. Alright, exit gate. Exit gate is the thing on the upper left hand side of the screen that you can send objects out of, and they will disappear forever. So that one's done. The next one is mic entity. Alright, so we're getting closer to home now. Alright, so this is the type of thing I hope that we can automate in the future, these kind of pain in the butt but very context specific kind of changes that get repeated over and over. So we can input it once and the compiler will be able to fix it later. So next one's in voice entity. Charm. I still call these chars. I know some people call them chars. Alright, that might be all of the entity errors. Because now we're moving on to It's not true. Did I? Yeah, I did. I was wondering where charm came from. That M key is far away from my left hand. I'm very happy when I can remain in the StarCraft position. That's left hand on the keyboard and right hand in the mouse. I hope somebody invents a Dvorak for that. Something like a Dvorak. Okay. Now there are new errors. Oh, I'm sorry. How rude of me to not share my screen. Undeclared use of K-fade samples. And this is in input buffer sound. Alright, I think we're at a good point. We're almost compiling. .mm. And that is line 39. Yeah, and we don't have a filter sample rate. And I don't even know if we need one. But that should be in one of the, I think, filter audio IO.h. Or one of those. Yeah, well, it should be there then. Oh, no, the error is K-fade samples, which we no longer need. In fact, I'm pretty sure we don't need this at all. Any reason to leave it here? Yeah, I'm deleting all of this. Wait a minute. Get sign freak. Samples remaining. This is weird. I don't know where this entity comes from. This must be some fancy stuff. And there's no error there. Alright, so I'm just going to do this for now. Because some of this stuff might be useful. Alright, so I'm going to try build again. And we have a build that succeeds. Isn't that great? So now we can finally get back to our original problem of just trying to stick a buffer in the mic entity. Did I even get that far? No, I did not. And that is because the voice entity wait a minute, I copied and pasted this someplace. No. I don't need them in the mic entity. I only need them in... I don't need them in the mic entity. I only need them in voice entity. I'm just going to use mic entity as a means to pass the objects on to voice entity. Yeah. From the input manager. Okay. So that was a fairly roundabout so now that I've changed everything to MM, I notice that the syntax isn't being colored. The mode isn't being detected, which kind of sucks. Alright. Yeah, so right here is where I want to do something like add buffers. First, I have to figure out And what are these input buffers going to be exactly? I want to use a subset of the elements in the vector. And how do I find out which ones? Well, I'm going to need some new state variables because I don't know when they start and they end right now at this point in the code, because the start happened at a different call to this update function. So find out which input buffers are for this input, for this shot. And I'm just going to use a vector because we have a lot of them and they're nice and easy to use like that. So that is our buffer. And I imagine we'll take a pointer for that because we don't want to pass the whole thing. Alright. Time to drink some water. Okay. So we got these buffers. I think at some point we could take the index, but that's not the most useful thing to do. And the reason for that is that we throw out stuff from the beginning and that shifts the index every time we throw something out. And we could also keep track of the shifting, but it just gets a little complicated. So I think it's time we consult the vector documentation. I use the vector quite a lot, but I stick to the real common stuff. Erase, begin, push back, sort. Sub. So I really want to see if you can get a substring. I don't know if you call it that. What do you call a consecutive segment of a vector? I don't know. Apparently neither does my DNS. CodeGru. I haven't seen CodeGru in a long time. Stack Overflow really has taken over. Let's say I've got a vector. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. No, and I don't want a find function. So it's not, yeah, it's not a substring. Start and end point. Yeah, so the begin thing looks pretty good, but I wonder if you can, let's just look at the reference. Oh yeah, I remember this site. Okay. Begin, return iterator to end. Yeah, I could use just the iterator. That might be all I need. I could pass an iterator down. That wouldn't be so bad.